Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Brent Gove. I'm with Paul Frank and a dear friend of mine. And Paul, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
All right, good. So we are here to talk about why EXP commercial. And before we get into that, if you could just real briefly give everyone like a minute highlight overview of how long you've been in commercial real estate, what have you achieved, why should anyone even listen to you?
Yeah, my tenure in commercial real estate, I've been a commercial developer and broker for 40 plus years over my career. I've developed and brokered pretty much every product type throughout the United States and some international work as well. So I have that development construction as well as the brokerage background for a considerable amount of time.
Right on. And you've done half a billion worth of commercial, a billion. I mean, how much business have you done?
At my previous brokerage, we didn't really track the stats, but I can say it's been hundreds and hundreds of millions of square feet of real estate over that tenure, both development and brokerage throughout the United States. So,
Love it. Love it. Okay. So now before we get into why EXP, like obviously you've become very pro EXP and you've got some good reasons for that. It's been pretty powerful what you share with me. What was You were very against EXP. Let's just be honest. You were super like, I'm not doing that. So why were you against it and what changed?
over my career, I've been recruited by all of the big houses. I've only had one W-2 job in my life for Domino's Pizza for about 8 days in high school. The
Right.
rest of the time, I just figured it out. And my companies, my development company, property management, brokerage, they all had my initials PDF. So I was never interested in losing that identity, not so much about ego. I think it was more about autonomy. And then I got pitched the franchises for commercial SVN, NAI, and I just never had any interest in it. And then about 9 years ago or so, I was approached with this new model. And for 4 or 5 years on a quarterly basis, I would tell everybody I appreciate it, but I am literally the last human being on the planet that's going to buy into this. Go talk to somebody else.
And so, but eventually 4 or 5 years went by and something changed. What changed and what caused you to make the move?
I had a transaction occur that opened my eyes to redefining in my mind the efficacy of this platform and basically the foundational premise of it. And it made me go back and take another look. And I sat down with the president of the company at the time and told him every reason why I shouldn't get involved in this thing. And he answered those questions. And for some reason, I was compelled for the first time in my life to give this a try or something different to try.
So you decided to give it a shot. And what was your thinking? Like, well, what's the worst could happen? I don't like it. And I go back to PDF independent commercial brokerage firm, right?
Yeah, in fact, the agent centric premise of this company being that EXP is behind you, not in front of you, is the only reason that I did. I didn't want to lose my identity. So I was able to keep my PDF brand and just have it powered by EXP commercial. So to your point, the worst case scenario was PDF commercial, which was my brokerage for decades. I would just go back to doing exactly what I was doing and lop off that EXP extension if it didn't work. So it seemed to be a low risk exercise.
Yes. Now you came to EXP 3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever it was, with you had, I believe, 10 to 15 commercial agents at your brokerage, and you guys are doing great. You're not necessarily feeling the need to do anything different, but then you go, there could be something here, and I want to try it. So you did, and let's fast forward, then back it up and tell them why this happened. But today, large independent brokerages typically run, 35 to 75 brokerage agents within an independent brokerage. Big teams at Colliers and Cushman Wakefield and CBRE, they might have 2 to 4 commercial agents on the team, maybe 8 to 10, but that's it. You came with 10 to 15. And how many commercial agents do you have nationally throughout the United States today or
I'm
globally?
right in or over 200 agents in my organization, and it was exactly 4 years ago, December 1st, that I started this experiment.
Wow, that's amazing. So, you could just go it alone and be an independent commercial agent, just you, and your income's purely on what you create. Most people, if they become successful, they have additional business and they get 2, 3, 4 commercial agents, and they kind of build out a little team or a small independent brokerage. You built yours to 10 to 15. All of a sudden, here you are at 200 now. People get, if they have 4 agents, they get paid on their production and the production of 4 agents. If they have 14, their production, the production of 14 agents. But if they're independent brokerage, they're liable for it. And that will keep you up at 2 or 3 in the morning. Talk to me about that. You said, because now you have 200, but EXP commercial brokerage, they're liable for all that. And what that meant to you, like, what did that mean to you to be able to expand and not have the stress and the sleepless nights to go with it?
Yeah, up front, I didn't really think about the expansion side. I really can't even pinpoint why I ventured down this road. It was something I was compelled to give a try to it. And yeah, exactly that. What this has allowed me to do is build teams all over the country, but I get to do the fun stuff, which is the coaching and helping people. And I do not have to worry about any longer what's going on in those file cabinets. If everything's taken care of, a DRE audit, a E&O insurance audit, none of that, which used to keep me up at night, is
All gone.
it's in my world anymore. I literally only do the fun stuff.
That's nice. So all that stress is gone. You're able
Yeah.
to expand, and you actually are not just national, you're international. I'm sure you're up in Canada, US, and I believe you have some global things happening as well. Is that correct?
In India, Mexico, Canada, all over the place. If
That's
somebody
beautiful.
had suggested I would be doing this 5 or 6 years ago, it wouldn't have even been laughable. It would have been such a ridiculous thought. I can't even explain it.
I love it. Okay, so let's just forget what the positive. Honestly, what has been, there's got to be something. What would be the negative having made the switch? It takes time to switch over, and if you go from Colliers to CBRE or CBRE to Cushman Wakefield, I mean, there's a switching, there's a little bit of time effort there, but what has the negative been to this change?
Um, so my initial move over, I didn't realize, but I was an early adopter for EXP commercial because, be very clear, EXP has 50 separate commercial brokerages in every state. So they are independent of the realty side. Um, the first year moving over was growing pains for EXP commercial, and I dug in and helped
I
correct some
remember I
issues.
talked to you a few
Yeah.
times that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really like being wrong, so instead of punting and leaving, I just dug in with the corporate and helped them solve those problems. I can tell you, last 3 years since I acclimated and we fixed that has been the most invigorating and fun and profitable of my career. I get that question often. What is the negative of the move from having your own brokerage and that autonomy to where I am today? And I can say, without any question, there is zero negative, not just that the positive outweighs. I couldn't tell you one thing about this adventure that is a negative, period.
Wow. So it's been a total plus in your life, a benefit. You're actually excited about it.
Absolutely.
That's great. So you have someone working at CBRE or Cushman Wakefield or Colliers or wherever they are, or maybe they're an independent broker like you, what would you say to them, or maybe the number one reason why they should make this room, or two reasons, but like what comes to mind? Like, what is it going to do for them? I mean, obviously, take some of the liability and the stress out of managing your agents, like even your 10 to 15 agents. Now it's now on EXP Commercial Brokerage House, not you, but what
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, I truly believe this, that there is no greater opportunity that exists in real estate, especially on the commercial side, than this platform, both in terms of growing an organization and what you get out of it. It can take people's businesses in incredible trajectories with this platform. I think one of the, you got to separate two. You have the globals, as I call them, CBRE, Cushman, Colliers, Newmark, and then you have the independents like I was. My pushback originally in the narrative was that and we'll go over it, I'm sure, an 80-20 split with a $20,000 cap. That is unheard of in commercial, having a $20,000 cap. But for the owner of a brokerage, my response was, why would I give anybody 20 grand? I'm 100% of everything as it is. And I was 100% wrong. I didn't understand my numbers. I didn't understand that cloud of stress that I was under until it was removed. And
So
on
you're
the
saying it
upside,
was worth the $20,000
uh,
by a mile?
by a mile, let alone this year, for example, what has happened. The 20,000, it's the best 20,000 I've ever paid in my career for anything.
Wow. So I know you mentioned me before we got on that you capped in I think 11 days. So you're on the 80-20, which always bugs. Like I know the commercial guys at the big brokerage, they're on 50-50s, 60-40s, 70-30s, 80-20s, and an incredible split for the big brokerage houses, right?
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
they're siloed for the most part into property types, geography, deal structure. So they're not able to transact in whatever area or product type that they want. It's exceedingly restrictive in most
So
cases.
EXP commercial gives total freedom to be an entrepreneur in the commercial space.
Yep.
But you had said you capped in 11 days. So you're literally on an 80-20 split for 11 days, and you're 100% for the next 11 months and 19 days for the rest of the year. So you're back to 100%, but you did have to pay 20 grand in 11 days. But what happened 3 months later because you were in production? We have what's called an Icon Award program, and you became an Icon commercial agent, and it's based upon production. And with that, I think you said 2 more months, you qualified for that. And what did they do when you got, besides getting the plaque and the award and the recognition, what else did they do?
Yeah, and I guess it is great exercise in juxtaposing one of my greatest pushbacks, which was 80-20 with a 20 cap. Why would I give anybody that money? This year, as an example, I capped within 11 days, which means I paid my total to the company. And within 60 days, I iconed. So I actually get that cap back in stock from the company.
So
So
you
technically, I'm paying nothing to be here.
and you were tripping over the 80-20 and the 20 when the truth is you paid it, but then you got 20,000 worth of stock. And people say, yeah, but what will the stock be worth in the future? And I too, I did the same thing you did. I capped it, then I got it back. And we have 3-year vesting. It's not 30-year vesting. It's not 13-year vesting. It's 3 years. It's 36 months. And I know my stock was worth, like what will it be worth in 3 years? Will it be worth we're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. Will it be worth that, or will it be a little less, a little more? Mine was not only worth that, it had appreciated over $400,000. So I think how many times does 20,000 go into $400,000? What is that?
Yeah,
20 times, a little quick math, a
yeah,
20x return. Pretty cool.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's wrap this up. What can they expect? Okay, so someone leaves Cushman or CBRE or wherever they're at, or they're independent, they come to EXP Commercial. What will it do for them besides the things we've already said? Like what have we not said that it would do for them? Like what's one of the big pluses?
EXP is a disruptor. And one of the things that I coach, and when I say coach, I was a sports coach, as you know, for 25 plus years. And it's sort of morphed over to this real estate space. I was the number one agent in transactions for the entire company. My assistant was number two, but I was also mentor of the year, which apparently is an anomaly for people to actually do and teach. But when they come over, the opportunities, again, it's disruptive. The foundation of this company is a disruptor. And there are so many avenues to explore that is a disruptive angle to commercial real estate that we have just compounded over time. So getting out of that traditional railroad track of how commercial works and expanding their horizon and product types and avenues of lead generation, it's just been invigorating, to say the least.
So if somebody makes the move and gives EXP a shot for like 6 months, I know that was mine. I said, I'm coming for 6 months. I'm either going to hate it or love it in 6 months, or I'll know enough to say if I'm going to stay. And of course, I stayed. It was life changing.
Yeah.
But can people expect to, are you doing more business personally because of this move? Have you been referred business in other countries and across the country? I think I referred you to someone out of Missouri who you're doing Amazon tilt ups, building, warehousing for
Yep.
Amazon with one of the connections to EXP residential.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Is that something they could expect to see?
It's if you in the traditional paradigm in commercial real estate is residential agents are bad and they're not to be dealt with. They don't return their phone calls. They don't embrace them. I realized long ago that virtually everybody that I've dealt with in commercial real estate over 40 years lives in a house and knows a Brent. And if I can embrace Brent and teach him how to use scripts and uncover opportunities and partner with me, we can both expand our business incredibly. And we have, over this experiment, as I said, I was the number one in transactions and number two as my assistant. 70% of our transactions are coming from the work that we do with our team members within the EXP platform. It's just an incredible resource.
Wow. So, which was amazing. So, talk to me about the future. Do you feel like you've kind of maxed out? I mean, 200 is large. That's a large commercial team by anyone's standards. It really is. Do you feel like you kind of run out of room on the runway, or do you feel where are you at as far as in terms of just getting started? Are you done? Where are you at? What's the future look like for you?
Honestly, it took me about 2 years before the impact of what this is and the opportunity that you brought to us, the impact that it can have on lives, my lives, and those that I bring it to. I feel like I'm sort of almost in pregame warmups. It's just getting started. Even over the last, I would say, 6-9 months, it is gaining incredible momentum because, as I said, I'm the case study in why people would not come over. So usually when I explain my path and my mistakes as I coach, vicarious learning is the least expensive method because somebody else paid the tuition. So when I explain where I was and where I am now, there has not been anybody that had a reservation or concern that I didn't carry and defend for 5 years. So we're
Wow.
just getting started.
I love it. So, where do you see the future? Could you go to 400 agents, 500, 1,000? Like, honestly, where do you see the future for you? And that means other people are building huge commercial sales organizations. Where do you see it for you?
Oh, I mean, the math is so indisputable. And my story and experience combined with that, I would expect to be at 5,000 agents in the next 3 years, just as it compounds itself.
Which is amazing. So somebody's watching this little kind of short expose on EXP commercial and just listening to this, they should probably A, get back to the person who gave them this video to watch, and B, there's an opportunity to actually partner with you in what's called co-sponsoring, because probably the number one mistake is when someone comes to EXP through a residential agent, that residential agent doesn't know how to support them. They don't know commercial. Same thing, commercial people, they don't know the world of residential, I mean, at the basics. And so, what would you say about the opportunity to co-sponsor, and how could you help people that way?
Yeah, absolutely. This adoption of co-sponsoring EXP, it has its validity in the residential side with geography and property types and things like that. But in the commercial space, it is a must, in my opinion. Not me necessarily, but
Yeah.
if a residential agent exposes somebody in the commercial world to this platform, by all means, they should be sponsoring them. But now with co-sponsorship, be it me or anybody, they can have a connection to that commercial brokerage that can show them the ropes as far as the CoStar access, the build out access, the Canva, the Air CRE, all of the tools that we have. And without that connection to commercial through co-sponsoring, it tends to be a little bit of a boat in the floating around in the ocean. That is just a game changer.
That's right. It'd be like you referring a residential agent in New York or Miami or Chicago or Denver, and you're that's not your world. Your world is commercial. So
I've
you also would recommend, hey, get going with EXP. I could be your sponsor, but then let's get a residential superstar in New York, in Miami, in Chicago, boots on the ground, who knows the systems, the tools, the platform. It makes all the difference in the world. I agree with you 100%. And it doesn't have to be you. Find a great commercial agent they could co-sponsor with, or they're welcome to reach out to you and talk to you, Paul. Anything you want to say that I didn't ask, or advice you have for someone who's maybe at a big brokerage house or an independent looking to make this move? Any final thoughts or advice?
I think going over real quick what our tool package is and the platform. So again,
Yes.
it's an 80-20 split with a $20,000 cap. Residential realty has a $16,000 cap. Commercial has a $20,000 cap. The cost per month to be here is $500 a month. It used to be $250 a month, but miraculously, corporate was able to secure a contract with CoStar that gave us all CoStar for an additional $250. I was paying for multiple licenses at $500 a month, and if you went and signed up yourself, you would be paying $500 a month. And our tech package, we have CoStar, we have Build Out, we have Air CRE, and we have Canva, all at our disposal. And I think the greatest aspect is the community. Nationally, I have so many people at high levels that I am friends with and have as resources that I can connect with and get answers to questions that before, when I owned my own brokerage, I didn't have those resources.
Yeah, you were just in Northern California, head down, doing it, and happy. You weren't unhappy, but it's just like a whole new world. You just open your eyes and you're like, wow, I don't see in black and white anymore. I see in color. It's really been a different experience for you.
Yeah, and that national piece is huge. As I said, I've developed and brokered all over the country, but now with this platform, because it's a publicly traded multinational company, I have 12 or 13 licenses across the country. And I can just pin those into EXP commercial with no additional cost. Whereas if I was my independent, I'd have to go find brick and mortar or a broker to put my license under. So the autonomy to actually navigate deals on a national basis and add your own licenses and partners is just a phenomenal change for what we do.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's worth looking more into. And if you decide to give it a shot, it's just that. You're giving it a shot. You're not buying a commercial franchise. You're not investing $100,000 or $500,000. What's it cost to get going in EXP commercial to come over? What's it cost?
500 a month. There may be an
Is
onboarding
there an
cost, but
onboarding fee? 140?
maybe a couple $100. I don't know. It's
Yeah, so
been
it's not really a capital risk.
yeah, nominal. E&O insurance was 24,000 a year. Now I pay $100 up to a transaction up to 1,000. That alone is a life change. And nobody's asking for information at the end of the year to audit my fees.
Right, your eyes got big. So you
Yeah.
went from 24,000 a year for your to 1,000. You went from sleepless nights to sleeping like a baby, and you truly believe you could take it from 200 to 5,000. So we're just getting started. You're at the beginning of this momentum wave. I know they asked Wayne Gretzky, one of the most famous hockey players of all time, why you? Why do you score so much? And he said, well, all these other professional hockey players would skate to where the puck was. I always had a sense for where it was going. I just start moving into that open space, and sure enough, it'd pop out. I'd grab it, turn, and fire on goal. And he's one of the greatest. It's like the Jordan of hockey. And I
Yeah,
think for commercial real estate, it's safe to say this is where the puck is going, and you want to get here. And it's just a great opportunity.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So here's what you need to do next. Get back to the person who gave you this video to watch. Ask more questions. Do your due diligence. Either you can vet this thing in or out. Either we pass the mustard test or we don't. Just keep open-minded. Ask more questions. The more you learn, the more you're going to like. And if you want to reach out to Paul, you can reach out to Paul. Do you have a website, an email, a way they can find you, Paul?
Yeah.
Instagram handle?
I'm easy to find and happy to help. And as you said, it's not about me. Learn from me, listen to my background, ask any questions you have. I don't have to be involved. I'm passionate about the difference it can make in people's lives. My email address is Paul, Paul, at PDF, like the Adobe file, hyphen USA.com. So that's Paul at PDF-USA.com.
There you go. And that's Paul Frank is his full name. And you can find him, Google him, look him up, however you got to find him. But that's it for today. And Paul, thanks for being on and clarifying a little bit about EXP Commercial.
Great to see you. Appreciate the opportunity.